What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome back to Writer's Life Wednesdays, where we come together to help you make your story matter and make your author dreams come true. Today we're talking about one of my favorite subjects, which is Scrivener. As you might already know, I'm obsessed with Scrivener. It is my favorite writing software ever. I use it every single day, and not just for writing books. If you want to see how I organize my writing projects using Scrivener plus some of my favorite tools, I already made a video about that, but in this video I'm going to show you how I make my Scrivener look aesthetic. Whether you're setting the mood for an immersive writing session or you just want to brighten up your workspace and make it more like you, that's what this video is all about. So roll the intro. Let's get started. Why does your story matter? Good question. What if I told you that there's a science behind every great story? I don't just teach you how to write. I teach you how to change the world with your story and make your author dreams come true. So one of the things that I love the most about Scrivener is that it's fully customizable. You can change all of the colors, all the fonts, all the design of the interface itself and really make it your own. I'm going to show you how I personally make my Scrivener interface super aesthetic, and I'm going to be using Scrivener 3 on Mac. I know Literature and Latte, which is the company that owns Scrivener, they just released a new version of Scrivener for Windows. I haven't checked it out yet, but it is Scrivener 3 for Windows, and I'm hoping that it has all of the same features, but if it doesn't, if something looks different because you're using Scrivener on Windows, don't worry, there's usually another option for that. If not, it's coming. The shortcut to changing the appearance in Scrivener is to use Scrivener themes. Now, Scrivener comes with a few themes already pre-made and loaded in there. I don't use them a whole lot. I use the Solarized Dark one a lot because I do like that one. It's kind of just a nice go-to, like navy blue. Everything's like navy blue. But I like to customize them a little bit more than that. I actually designed a whole pack of Scrivener themes myself that are based off of different genres and different writing moods, and you can grab that in the description box below. You'll see the link to my Scrivener themes. So if you want to check that out, definitely click the link below this video. That is for Scrivener 3 on Mac, which is the setup I'm using here. But you can also make your own Scrivener themes based on the mood of your book or just your own aesthetic. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do right now. So we're starting with the system default, which is everything is white and kind of just sans serif fonts, very plain, not a lot going on. We're gonna start by just changing some of the background colors. So first go up into Scrivener in the top menu and go down to Preferences. And in this menu, we can go over to Appearance on the Appearance tab. And this is where we're going to change all of the colors and fonts and the general aesthetic. So let's start with the binder. So I'm going to start with the fonts in the binder. I want the font to be not this plain sans serif font. I want it to be something a little bit more romantic. We're gonna go for like a light academia aesthetic with this theme that I'm building here right now. So I really like Baskerville. I also really like Cinzel. Cinzel Decorative is even fancier. Let's go with that. And you can also change the size of the font, and if the spacing looks too much or too little, you can go over to options and change the spacing as well. So I'm going to change it to like 2 points. You can also change if the font is bold on folders, which can be a good way to see what you have going on in the binder here. I'm just gonna keep it all plain, and then I'm gonna go to colors. The binder background, let's do something kind of light. I'm gonna go with a blue aesthetic for this one. Okay, so I'm gonna go with that. Next, I'm gonna go into main editor. This is what we're looking at in the background here where chapter 1 is written. That's the main editor. So I'm gonna change the background color on the editor, but I don't want it to be the same color as the binder, so I'm gonna just brighten it up a little bit. I want it to be the same hue, but not quite the same color. So something like that. It's like a very, very pale blue. The reason you're seeing this white portion here is because you have the option to have a background here as well as a color, but I'm gonna make the whole thing just this same color for the background. So that looks nice and seamless. And that's pretty much all you have to change here. The rest of these are areas of Scrivener that you probably won't see a lot, certainly not when you're writing. So I usually just keep these the same. Index cards are what you're going to see in this sidebar area. So I'm gonna change the color here as well. I'm probably gonna take the same color as the binder actually. So it's super congruent and aesthetic. And the inspector and notes is also this. So this is the notes area. I want to have a little bit more variation here. So yeah, I like that. That kind of matches the light academia aesthetic. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And now I want to change some more fonts. So let's go back to index cards. I want to change the font in this index card. So go to the fonts tab for that. You have two options here, index card titles and index card text. So I'm gonna change the title to be Cinzel, like we were doing before. Probably something a little bit bigger. You can see it changing right here. Let's go with 18 point. And for the text, I'm going to make that Baskerville. So that's a little bit different, but still has that classy flair to it. Another place you can see this is in your corkboard view. So if you go to Act 1 and your corkboard view, this is going to show you the fonts that we just changed. If all of this sounds like too much work, that's why I made that pack of Scrivener themes that I mentioned earlier. So if you just want to load something in and not fuss with it, go to the link in the description box below this video and grab my pack of Scrivener themes. Now for like a super immersive writing session, you are gonna wanna go into composition mode. That's when you have no distractions, no menu bars, no notes screaming at you, no binder screaming at you, you just have the page. And you can have your notes if you want to have your notes, but just what you're writing and you focus on that. Perfect place to create your own aesthetic and customize it to be an immersive writing experience. So composition mode is up here in the upper right-hand corner, the little icon that is a gray square with two little arrows in the corners. When you click that, it will make all of your notes and all your binder and everything disappear except what you're currently writing and working on. So it's a distraction-free, great way to immerse yourself in what you're writing. But you might not want to just look at your computer background. So there are a few ways to customize this. The first way is to go up into Project in your top menu bar and go down to Project Settings. Once you click on that, a new menu will appear. On this menu, you'll find background images. Here you want to select Choose from Disk for your composition mode backdrop and click Choose. So I grabbed a few images for this. I'm going to use this image of a beautiful ceiling of a white cathedral. So I'm just gonna click that and then click OK. And now when I go into my composition mode, it should be there. Take the paper fade off because that is a little bit hard to see. So with the paper fade off, it is a white-ish background. Let's go back into Scrivener and Preferences. Under Appearance, this is where we were before. If you go to composition mode, you'll see under the color tab a bunch of options just for composition mode. So the editor, as you can see, this is the color of the editor. I'm going to take the same color as the binder background and let's see how that looks. I kind of want to carry over the blue theme, so that looks kind of cool. I like the blue combination with the white. I think looks super pretty. That's one option, okay? Option number 2 is to make your own background with your own paper, so to speak. So that requires a little bit of editing, but it can be really fun. Okay, so now I'm editing this photo in PicMonkey. I'm just going to resize it to fit my computer screen, which is a 4K size. So I'm going to crop this photo a little bit and apply that. And what I'm gonna do here is add in a paper to go on top of the photo. So I downloaded this tea stained paper. I'm gonna just bring that into this photo. This is going to be like the paper that we write on. So it will all make sense in a minute. That looks good there. I like that. So I'm going to download this and save this to my computer. Now let's load the background into Scrivener. So go back up to project settings, and I'm gonna choose a different image. I'm gonna choose the image with our tea stained paper and go back into composition mode. And now you can go down into the bottom right hand corner and fade the background completely, and you'll see that you are now writing on your tea stained paper. So yeah, that's just another fun way to use composition mode and make it more your own. Another thing you can do is have a more detailed background. So let's go back to Google and try like a light academia aesthetic wallpaper. So I'm just gonna download this one. This one looks pretty high quality. Composition mode again. Let's use the wallpaper we just downloaded. Okay, let's go back into composition mode and fade the paper back in, and boom. You have another really cool, very aesthetic background that you can now use as your writing background. Another really fun thing to do in Scrivener is to customize your actual document titles in your binder, not just the fonts, but things like emojis. This is a fun way to organize your documents inside of Scrivener. I use this all the time, especially not so much for writing projects, but things like notes for my YouTube channel or my yearly planning. I use Scrivener to plan my entire year. I need to make a video about that as well because it is so helpful for yearly planning and goal organization. So Scrivener obviously comes with a bunch of different options for your icon for each document, and you can use any of these icon options that Scrivener comes with, or you can use your own by going up to icon from text and choosing from any emoji, any pictographs, things like that. So I'm gonna choose something that goes with my academia aesthetic here. I'm gonna choose like the little vintage writing hand with a pencil. You can also change these more than one at a time by clicking on the first one and then going down to the last one, holding shift and clicking on the last one. Then right click, go to change icon and icon from text. Just gonna do like a little diamond shape. So it's kind of fun because you can change the way your binder looks completely. And last but not least, we have to talk about the inspector. The inspector is a feature of Scrivener that is in the sidebar. It's like a hidden sidebar that you can open or close. I always have mine open because I always have relevant notes there. Typically, you would use this for writing the synopsis of your chapter, your outline, your notes, things like that, but it doesn't have to be boring and bland. It can be super aesthetic. You can use this inspector to set the mood and to get you inspired and motivated. I'm gonna show you a few ways to do that right now. So you're gonna find the inspector menu up in the top right-hand corner. It's the little eye in the blue dot, and once you click that, it will pop out a new menu, which we were changing the colors for earlier. And this is typically where you would write your synopsis and your notes, but you don't have to use the inspector menu for that. It can be a really nice little area to have some visual inspiration, and you can make it really aesthetic. So the first way that I like to do this is to switch over to toggle the picture view, the image view. So you click on the little image icon in the upper right-hand corner of the synopsis card, and that will allow you to drag an image into this box. So I'm gonna open my folder here, and I grabbed a few images that I really like. For this one, I'm gonna use this pretty like Renaissance painting of some clouds, and you can drag the border of this down so it fills more of the screen, or you can keep it smaller, whatever. You can also change the width of the inspector menu by dragging this border. I like that there. That looks really good with our theme colors, and I'm going to add something down here to the notes section. What's fun about the notes section is you can actually change the font and colors in this section. You can't do that with the synopsis card. I would recommend putting your actual synopsis in this area and toggling over the image view when you want to see that. And in your notes section, you can either put your notes or your synopsis. For this example, I'm gonna just do like a fancy little quote. Okay, so I'm gonna change the font to be Cinzel to match Cinzel Decorative to match the rest of our theme. And I'm just gonna make this like a cute little motivational quote area. I'm just gonna center that, and I'm gonna change the color to be like matching with the gold and the blue. That looks kind of cool. I'm also gonna let's add like some cute little emoji or something here. So let's go back to our pictographs. I'm gonna do like the little hand writing. That's cute. Now you're starting to see how you can just like get distracted doing this all day. Yeah, so that looks good. Okay, cool. So now it's like this cute little area of like not clutter, but just an aesthetic little sidebar that will keep you inspired. Another option for this sidebar is to create like more of an outline in your notes section. So let's start with the picture again. I'm gonna drag a different picture in here. Let's do this one because this one has like a little quote on it. So that takes care of the quote section. It fills it perfectly, and that looks really good. Okay, so in the notes section, we're going to do like a short outline. So let's say you have a quick little bullet point outline of what needs to be written into this scene. You can make this look way cuter by just changing a few things. So first thing I'm gonna change is I can highlight this header text. I'm gonna highlight it with like a nice blue to match our vibe. And I'm going to change the bullet points to be pictographs instead. Let's just do like this sideways pencil. Okay, and I'm gonna change the color of that because I can. I'm gonna change that to blue. And I'm gonna just copy that over for the rest of my bullet points. Super cute, and it only took like 2 seconds to put that together, so it's way cleaner and way more aesthetic than just pasting your messy outline into the notes section, which I have to admit, I usually just paste a bunch of text into that notes section, but it is really fun to play around with different aesthetics and see how you can make this inspector panel and your entire Scrivener really, really cute. So boom, that's it. That's how I make my Scrivener super aesthetic. And again, I love this software because it is so highly customizable. You can make it whatever you want. And if you felt kind of lost throughout this whole video, like I did not know Scrivener could do any of this stuff, and you want to learn more about navigating Scrivener and using the best tools to make your writing experience smoother, faster, and more efficient, check out my Scrivener masterclass, which I talk about in this video here. It goes over the entire thing. So starting from scratch with Scrivener and all of the tools that I use on a daily basis that make my writing experience so much better, plus all of my Scrivener themes, all of the ways to change Scrivener and make it your own. So if you want to get the most out of this amazing software and have an amazing writing experience, check out that masterclass. I think you'll love it. Smash that like button if you liked this video, and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I post videos about writing every single Wednesday, and I would love to have you here in the community. Also, be sure to check out my Patreon, because that's where we go beyond videos and take storytelling to the next level. The Patreon community is not only the best way to support what I'm doing here on YouTube, but it's also the only way to connect one-on-one with me and get better guidance and advice on your story. So go to patreon.com/Abbie Emmons and check out all the exclusive content I have over there for you. Until next week, my friend, rock on.